I spend hours digging through reports, timelines, and court records to bring you accurate long-form true crime. If that's the kind of content you value, subscribe to support the work. This isn't some case where we're missing information. This isn't some mystery where nobody saw anything. This is a case where a 9-year-old girl walked out of her house in the middle of the night, in the middle of a storm, and multiple people saw her walking down a highway. And we still have no idea why. The disappearance of Asha Degree. And I'm telling you, by the end of this, you're going to be just as frustrated as I am. February 14th, 2000. Valentine's Day. Shelby, North Carolina. A small town, the kind of place where everybody knows everybody. Safe, quiet. The kind of place where parents don't worry about their kids playing outside. And in this town, there's a family. Harold and Asha Degree. They have 2 kids. O'Brien, he's 10 years old, and Asha, she's 9. By all accounts, this is a good family. Stable. Loving. Harold works at a car dealership. Asha works at Elon University Daycare Center. They're churchgoers, active in their community. Their kids are well-behaved, happy, normal kids. Asha is shy, really shy. Not the kind of kid who talks to strangers. Not the kind of kid who would wander off. She's in 4th grade. She plays basketball. She's on the school team. She's a good student, a good kid. And here's what makes this case so impossibly frustrating. Asha wasn't snatched off the street. She wasn't taken from a park or a mall. She walked out of her house on her own. In the middle of the night. In the middle of a storm. And we have no idea why. Let me set the scene for you because the context matters. The context matters so much. February 13th, 2000, Sunday. It's a normal day for the Degree family. They go to church in the morning, come home, the kids watch TV, play around the house, normal Sunday stuff. There's a basketball game that evening. Asha's team is playing. They go to the game. The Degrees are a basketball family. O'Brien plays. Asha plays. The parents never miss a game. Asha's team loses. According to her parents, Asha is a bit upset about losing, but not devastated. Just normal kid disappointment. She'll get over it. They go home. Evening comes. The kids do homework. Watch some TV. Nothing unusual. Nothing out of the ordinary. Around 8:00 p.m., the power goes out. There's a storm rolling in. Heavy rain, strong winds. The power outage isn't unexpected. It happens sometimes in storms. But here's an important detail. When the power goes out, Asha gets scared. She's afraid of the dark. Really afraid. She won't sleep without a nightlight. She's that kind of kid. So when the power goes out, and it's suddenly pitch black, she's nervous. Harold reassures her, says it'll be okay. The power will come back on. And it does, about an hour later. Around 9:00 p.m., the power comes back. The house is lit again. Asha calms down. Around 9:00 p.m., the whole family goes to bed. The house has a specific layout that's important to understand. The parents' bedroom is down the hall from the kids' rooms. But the kids, Asha and O'Brien, they share a bedroom. They have bunk beds. O'Brien sleeps on the top bunk. Asha sleeps on the bottom. This is important. Asha shares a room with her brother. If she left that night, she did it while her brother was sleeping in the same room, 10 feet away. The parents say goodnight. Everyone goes to sleep. Outside, the storm is getting worse. Rain is coming down hard. Wind is howling. It's a miserable night. The kind of night you want to stay inside, warm and dry. Around 11:30 p.m., Harold gets up to check on the kids. This is apparently his routine. He checks on them before he goes to sleep for the night. He looks in their room. Both kids are in bed, asleep. Everything's fine. He goes back to his room, and goes to sleep. Around 2:30 a.m., Harold gets up again. He hears noises. Turns out it's just the storm, but he's awake now, so he decides to check on the kids again. Goes to their room. Both kids are still in bed, still asleep. O'Brien is in his top bunk. Asha is in her bottom bunk. He can see them. They're definitely there, definitely asleep. Harold goes back to bed, goes back to sleep. Everything is fine. Everything is normal. 6:30 a.m., Monday morning, Valentine's Day. Akila gets up to start getting the kids ready for school. She goes to their room to wake them up. O'Brien is in his bed. Asha's bed is empty. Not just empty like she got up to use the bathroom. Empty like she's been gone. The covers are pulled back. She's not there. Akila checks the bathroom. Not there. Checks the rest of the house. Not there. Checks outside. Not there. Asha is gone. They immediately call 911. It's 6:40 a.m. when they call. They report their daughter missing. Police respond immediately. And when I say immediately, I mean fast. This is a small town. Missing 9-year-old? Every available officer responds. They start searching. The house, the yard, the neighborhood. They're looking everywhere. And while they're searching, they start asking questions. Talking to neighbors. Did anyone see anything? Did anyone hear anything? And this is where the case gets weird. Because people did see something. Multiple people saw Asha that night. Around 3:45 a.m., a witness is driving southbound on Highway 18. This is the main highway that runs through Shelby. And this witness sees a young black girl walking along the side of the highway. Just walking. Alone. In the middle of the night. In the middle of a storm. The witness finds this strange, but doesn't stop. Doesn't call police. Just keeps driving. Later, when the news breaks about Asha missing, this witness comes forward and says, "I think I saw her." Around 4 a.m., another witness is driving on Highway 18. Going northbound this time, opposite direction from the first witness. And this witness also sees a young girl walking on the side of the highway. But this witness does more than just drive by. This witness turns around, comes back, tries to approach the girl to help her. But when the car turns around and the headlights hit her, the girl runs. She runs off the highway and into the woods, into the tree line, and she's gone. The witness loses sight of her. The witness doesn't know what to do. The girl ran away. Maybe she lives nearby. Maybe she's okay. The witness doesn't call police at that moment. But later, when the news breaks, this witness also comes forward. So now we have two independent witnesses who both saw a young girl matching Asha's description walking along Highway 18 between 3:45 and 4 a.m. in a storm, alone. And when one of them tried to help her, she ran into the woods. Let me tell you how far Highway 18 is from the Degree house. About 1.3 miles. That's not a huge distance, but for a 9-year-old walking in the dark in a storm, that's significant. That's a deliberate journey. That's not just wandering out of the house. If you're not already subscribed, you need to hit that button right now, because this case only gets more confusing, and I need you to stick with me through all of it. The police start searching Highway 18. They search the woods along that stretch of highway. They bring in search dogs, and the dogs track Asha's scent. They track it from her house, down her street, to Highway 18, and then along Highway 18 southbound, the same direction the first witness saw her walking. And then they find evidence. Physical evidence that confirms Asha was there. They find her hair bow, pink hair bow, on the side of Highway 18, right in that area where the witnesses saw her. They find candy wrappers, the kind of candy Asha liked, also on the side of the highway. They find a pencil that Asha's family confirms belonged to her. So we know Asha was there. We know she walked out of her house, walked 1.3 miles in a storm, and was seen by multiple witnesses walking along a highway at 4:15 a.m. This isn't speculation. This is confirmed. This happened. But why? Why would a 9-year-old girl who's afraid of the dark, who's shy and cautious, who's never shown any signs of wanting to run away, walk out of her house in the middle of the night during a storm? And where was she going? She was walking south on Highway 18. Where does that lead? It leads out of town, it leads toward other small towns, and eventually toward bigger cities. But a 9-year-old wouldn't know that. A 9-year-old wouldn't have a plan to walk to another city. So where was she going? Let's talk about the theories, because there are several, and none of them make complete sense. Theory 1. She was running away. But why? Her parents say there were no problems at home, no abuse, no trauma. She wasn't in trouble. She didn't have any reason to run away. And even if she did want to run away, why in the middle of the night? Why during a storm? Why when she's terrified of the dark? It doesn't make sense. Some people say maybe she was upset about losing her basketball game. But come on! A 9-year-old doesn't run away in a storm because her team lost a basketball game. Kids get upset about losing. They cry. They pout. They don't pack a bag and walk down a highway in the middle of the night. And speaking of packing a bag, Asha did pack. They found her book bag missing. Her book bag was gone from the house. What was in it? We don't know everything, but we know she took some things. Some of her clothes were missing. Small items, like she packed for a trip. Theory 2. She was groomed by someone. Someone convinced her to leave, told her to meet them somewhere. This makes more sense than running away on her own. If someone she trusted told her to sneak out, told her where to meet them, maybe she'd do it. Maybe she'd be brave enough if she thought she was meeting someone safe. But who? Who would have had access to Asha? Who would she trust enough to do this? The police investigated everyone. Family members, family friends, church members, coaches, teachers, neighbors. Everyone was interviewed. Everyone was cleared. Nobody seemed suspicious. Nobody had any connection to grooming or inappropriate behavior. And if someone was grooming her, how? This was 2000. Social media wasn't a thing. Internet access wasn't ubiquitous. The Degree family had a computer, but it was monitored. Asha wasn't on chat rooms or talking to strangers online. So how would someone have groomed her? In person? Who? Theory 3. She was sleepwalking. Some people have suggested maybe Asha was sleepwalking, that she got up in her sleep, got dressed, grabbed her backpack, and walked out of the house without realizing what she was doing. But sleepwalking doesn't explain the witnesses seeing her on the highway. It doesn't explain her running into the woods when approached. Sleepwalkers don't typically have that kind of purposeful movement. They don't run away from help. They don't walk 1.3 miles in a coordinated fashion. And besides, Asha had never sleepwalked before. No history of it. Theory 4. Something happened that night that scared her out of the house. Maybe there was an intruder. Maybe she saw something that terrified her, and she ran. But Harold checked on her at 2:30 a.m., and she was asleep in her bed. An hour and 15 minutes later, she's on a highway. What happened in that window? Did someone come into the house? Did someone wake her up and tell her to leave? But O'Brien was in the same room. He would have heard something. He would have woken up. Unless he did wake up and doesn't remember. He was 10 years old. Maybe something happened and his brain blocked it out. Maybe he saw something traumatic and repressed it. The police interviewed him extensively. He says he doesn't remember anything. He went to sleep and woke up in the morning, and his sister was gone. That's all he knows. Theory 5. She was meeting someone she thought she could trust. Maybe a friend's older sibling. Maybe someone from church. Maybe someone from school. Someone who convinced her it would be an adventure. Someone who told her to sneak out and they'd have fun. And she believed them. This is probably the most plausible theory. It explains why she packed a bag, why she left on her own, why she was walking with purpose toward a specific location. She thought she was going somewhere safe with someone she trusted. But that person didn't have good intentions. That person was luring her out to hurt her. But again, who? The police have investigated everyone. There are no suspects. Nobody fits this profile. Nobody has been identified as someone who would do this. Now, let me tell you about what they found later. Because the physical evidence doesn't stop at the highway. A year and a half later, August 2001, construction workers are working on Highway 18. They're digging, doing road work, and they find something. Buried in the ground, wrapped in a plastic bag, is Asha's backpack. Her backpack, the one she took with her that night, wrapped carefully in a plastic bag and buried on the side of Highway 18, about 26 miles north of where she was last seen. 26 miles. Someone took her backpack, drove 26 miles, and buried it. Why? Why keep the backpack? Why bury it? Why not just throw it away? Why risk keeping evidence? And what was in the backpack? According to police, there were some of Asha's clothes, a Dr. Seuss book, and something that didn't belong to Asha, a t-shirt, a New Kids on the Block concert t-shirt. The band broke up in 1994. This was a shirt from the 90s, and it didn't belong to Asha. It didn't belong to anyone in her family. Where did that shirt come from? Whose shirt was it? The police won't say if they've traced it. They won't say if it's a lead. It's just this weird detail that doesn't fit anywhere. And the fact that the backpack was buried, wrapped in a plastic bag, preserved. That speaks to intent. Someone wanted to hide it, but also maybe keep it safe. Keep it from deteriorating. Why? As a trophy? As evidence they didn't want found but couldn't part with? Make sure you're subscribed at this point because I need to tell you about all the other weird details that don't fit anywhere, and all the theories that have popped up over the years. Let's talk about the sightings. After Asha disappeared, there were reported sightings. People calling in saying they saw a girl matching her description. These calls came in for weeks, months even. One reported sighting was at a truck stop. Someone said they saw a young black girl with a man at a truck stop, and the girl looked distressed. Police investigated. Couldn't confirm it was Asha. Couldn't find the girl or the man. Another reported sighting was at a rest area. Again, couldn't be confirmed. You know what's heartbreaking? How many young black girls go missing, and it's hard to confirm sightings because people don't look close enough. People don't pay attention. They see a black girl with an adult man, and they don't think twice about whether she's okay. That's a systemic problem. That's part of why cases like this are so hard to solve. Let's talk about the photo. In 2016, the FBI released an age-progressed photo of what Asha might look like at age 25. They do this in long-term missing person cases. They show what the person might look like now. Maybe someone will recognize her. Maybe she doesn't even know she's missing. Maybe she was so young when she was taken that she doesn't remember her real family. But 16 years is a long time. If Asha is alive, if she was taken and kept by someone, she'd be 34 years old now. She'd be an adult. Would she know who she really is? Would she remember anything about that night? Or has her entire identity been erased? Let's talk about the family, because in cases like this, people always suspect the family first. It's cynical, but it's true. Statistics show that when a child goes missing, it's usually someone close to them. Family member? Close family friend? Someone with access. The police investigated Harold and Aquila extensively, interviewed them separately, looked into their backgrounds, checked their stories, and everything checks out. They're exactly who they say they are. Good parents, no history of abuse, no red flags. Both have alibis. They were home asleep when Asha left. O'Brien confirmed they were there. Could they have done something before 2:30 a.m.? Could something have happened that made Asha leave, and then they went to bed and pretended everything was normal? The timeline doesn't really work for that. Harold checked on her at 2:30 a.m., and she was asleep. So whatever made her leave happened after that. Could they be involved in some way? Could they have arranged for someone to take her? I mean, theoretically, anything's possible. But there's no evidence, no motive, no indication they wanted to harm their daughter. They've been cooperative with police from day one. They've done media appearances. They've kept her case alive. They've never stopped searching. They've never stopped hoping. I think they're victims too. They're living every parent's nightmare. They don't know what happened to their daughter. They don't know if she's alive or dead. They don't know if someone hurt her or if she's out there somewhere. That's a special kind of torture. Let's talk about O'Brien. He was 10 years old when his sister disappeared. He's the last person we know for certain who saw Asha. He was in the same room when she left. Did he wake up? Did he see her leave? Did he talk to her? He says no. He says he was asleep. He says he doesn't know anything. And the police believe him. He was a child. He's been traumatized by this. He lost his sister. His whole family fell apart. He's had to live his entire adult life with people suspecting him, questioning him, wondering if he knows something. And let's be clear, if O'Brien saw something, if he knows something, he would have said so by now. He's an adult. If he's been carrying some secret, some trauma, some knowledge about that night, he's had decades to come forward. The police have talked to him multiple times over the years. He's had opportunities. There's no reason to believe he's hiding anything. Let's talk about the investigation. Because this case has been active for over 20 years. The Cleveland County Sheriff's Office has never given up. They still work on it. They still follow leads. They still interview people. They still search. In 2016, they released new information. They asked the public for help. They showed pictures of that New Kids on the Block t-shirt found in her backpack. They asked if anyone recognized it. Did it belong to someone local? Was it from a specific concert or tour? They got tips, but nothing definitive. They've dug up areas based on tips. They've searched properties. They've followed up on psychic claims, even though most of those are nonsense. They've done everything they can think of. And the frustrating thing is, this case should be solvable. We know Asha left her house around 3:30 to 3:45 a.m. We know she walked to Highway 18. We know she was seen by 2 witnesses between 3:45 and 4:00 a.m. We know she ran into the woods when approached. We know her backpack was found 26 miles away. There's a timeline. There's physical evidence. There are witnesses. This isn't a case where everything's a mystery. We know what happened up to a certain point. And then it's just blank. What happened after she ran into those woods? Did someone pick her up? Did she flag down a car? Did someone grab her? And who? Who was on that highway at 4:00 a.m. on a Monday morning in a storm? Not many people. It's a small town. It's a rural highway. Traffic would be minimal at that hour in those conditions. so the pool of potential suspects should be small. Did police look at everyone who would have been on that road? Did they check with local businesses about who would have been working night shifts? Did they check truck drivers who regularly use that route? Did they look at everyone who had a reason to be on Highway 18 at 4 a.m.? They did. They interviewed hundreds of people, truckers, night shift workers, anyone who might have been on that road. And they cleared everyone. Nobody stood out. Nobody seemed suspicious. Nobody had any connection to Asha that would explain why she'd leave with them. So we're left with random chance. Wrong place. Wrong time. Asha walked out of her house for reasons we don't understand. She walked down a highway in a storm. And someone, a predator, just happened to be driving by, saw a vulnerable child, saw an opportunity, and took it. That's the most logical explanation based on what we know. But it's not satisfying. It doesn't explain why she left. It doesn't explain where she thought she was going. It doesn't explain the backpack being carefully buried 26 miles away. It doesn't explain the t-shirt that didn't belong to her. There are missing pieces. Things we don't know. Things that would make this make sense if we knew them. But we don't. And maybe we never will. Let's talk about the other theories that are out there, because when a case stays unsolved this long, people start coming up with wild theories. Theory: Asha was part of a child trafficking ring. This is one of the most common theories you see online, that she was groomed and lured out as part of an organized trafficking operation, that she was taken and sold, that she's alive somewhere, being held against her will. This theory is popular because it means she might still be alive. It gives hope. But there's no evidence for it. Child trafficking is real. It's horrible. It happens. But it usually doesn't happen like this. Traffickers don't usually target children from stable families in small towns. They target vulnerable kids, runaways, kids in foster care, kids without support systems. Asha doesn't fit that profile. Theory: Asha was hit by a car, and the driver panicked and hit her body. This would explain why she vanished so suddenly. If she was walking along the highway and a car hit her, and the driver panicked and put her in their car and drove away, that would fit the timeline. That would explain why the witnesses lost sight of her so quickly. But what about the backpack? If it was a panicked driver who accidentally hit her, why keep the backpack? Why bury it carefully 26 miles away? Why not just dump everything? Panicked drivers don't usually think strategically about evidence. They make mistakes. They leave clues. This feels too organized for a panicked accident. Theory: Asha was involved in something at school or church and was running away from a specific situation. Maybe something happened with another kid. Maybe there was bullying. Maybe there was a situation she didn't know how to handle. And in her 9-year-old mind, running away seemed like the solution. But her parents say she never mentioned any problems. Her teachers say she was a good student, well-liked, no issues. Her church community says the same thing. And even if there was a problem she didn't tell anyone about, it still doesn't explain the 4 a.m. departure. It doesn't explain walking during a storm. Kids who run away from problems usually do it impulsively during the day, not as a planned middle-of-the-night operation. If you're finding this case as unsettling as I did while researching it, take a moment to subscribe. New long-form true crime documentaries like this are uploaded regularly, and you won't want to miss what's coming next. Asha Degree deserves to be found. Her family deserves answers. And the only way that happens is if enough people know about this case, talk about this case, keep pressure on law enforcement to keep investigating. Here's what we know for certain. Asha Degree was a 9-year-old girl from Shelby, North Carolina. On February 14, 2000, She walked out of her house around 3:30 a.m. during a storm. She walked 1.3 miles to Highway 18. She was seen by multiple witnesses walking along the highway. When one witness tried to help her, she ran into the woods. Her backpack was found buried 26 miles away a year and a half later. And she has never been seen again. She would be 34 years old today. She might be alive. She might be dead. We don't know. Her family doesn't know. And that not knowing is its own kind of torture. Harold and Asha Degree still live in that same house. They keep her room the way it was. They celebrate her birthday every year. They've never given up hope that she'll come home. Or at least that they'll find out what happened to her. That they'll have closure. That they'll be able to lay her to rest if she's gone. Or welcome her home if she's alive. O'Brien is an adult now. He's had to live his whole life with this. His little sister vanished in the middle of the night, and nobody knows why. That's a burden nobody should have to carry. This case has devastated a family. It's haunted a community. It's baffled investigators for over 2 decades. And we're no closer to answers now than we were in 2000. But here's the thing. Cases get solved. Cold cases get cracked. Sometimes it takes decades, but it happens. New evidence emerges. Old evidence gets reanalyzed with new technology. Someone comes forward with information they didn't think was important before. Someone has a deathbed confession. Something breaks. And when it does, when this case finally gets solved, it's going to be because people kept talking about it, kept sharing it, kept putting pressure on law enforcement, kept Asha's name in the public consciousness. So here's what you can do. Subscribe to this channel so you see when we cover more cases like this. Share this video. Talk about Asha Degree. If you were in Shelby, North Carolina, in February 2000, if you were on Highway 18 that night, if you saw anything at all, call the Cleveland County Sheriff's Office, even if it seems insignificant, even if you think someone else already reported it. Call. If you know someone who lived in Shelby in 2000, someone who maybe moved away, someone who might have information, talk to them. Ask them if they remember anything about that night. Sometimes people don't come forward because they don't realize what they know is important. And if you work in law enforcement, if you're a detective or an investigator or a forensic specialist, look at this case with fresh eyes. Look at the evidence again. Look at the witnesses again. Look at the suspects again. Use new technology. Use new techniques. Don't let this case sit in a file cabinet gathering dust. Asha Degree was a real little girl. She liked basketball. She was shy. She was afraid of the dark. She had a family who loved her. She had a whole life ahead of her. And something happened to her. Someone knows what happened. Someone knows where she is. Someone has information that could crack this case. And until we find out what happened, until we bring Asha home, this case is going to haunt everyone who knows about it. Because it doesn't make sense. Because it shouldn't have happened. Because a 9-year-old girl shouldn't be able to just vanish. Stories like this are easy to forget, but the people involved shouldn't be. Subscribing helps keep these cases remembered and discussed. Someone knows something. Someone has a piece of this puzzle. And maybe, just maybe, if enough people are talking about this case, that someone will finally come forward. I'll see you in the next one. And I really, truly hope that someday we'll have answers about what happened to Asha Degree on that February night in 2000,